Okay, good morning, friends. Today we are going to see an overview of an environmental engineering as per Mumbai University. We have already seen the same for our theory subjects. Today, as it's a lab, we are going to look after what we are going to do in the lab as well. What are the term works, how it is to be distributed, and everything. Okay, let's start with it. First is the teaching scheme. Teaching scheme, as everybody knows that its theory subject requires the 3 hours and the practicals require the 2 hours. Okay, so and the evaluation is scheme is same as previous one. Okay, term test 1 and 2 comprises of 20 marks and semester 80. Term work and oral comprises of 25 marks. And how this 25 marks of that term work has been allotted, I will going to show you that in later slides. Okay. First, this is the course. Course code is CEC 504, Environmental Engineering 1, and credit is 1 for this. And the rest of the thing, as I already stated, that we have to do 2 hours of practical, and term work is 25, and oral is also 25 marks. So total 50 marks we are going to discuss in this session. First one is the objective. As I've already stated the objective, what is objective? What is our aim towards this subject? Okay, environmental engineering 1. So what is the first aim? To prepare students who can accomplish planning, designing and construction of water system and related infrastructure facilities. So what you have to do, you must understand how to plan, how to design and how to construct the water system. So what is water system? The system, the whole system from where the water is getting out from the river and the water is getting into your glass. So the whole water system of what we are going to study. Next, to provide the necessary knowledge of quality of water concept in the field of water supply and treatment. As far as quality of water is concerned, what I have already told you about, before analyzing and before drinking any water, what do we do first? We first analyze what is how is the quality of water. Okay, for that purpose, the main principle behind this practical is to understand how to calculate this quality of water. We have to get to know whether the water is of good quality or bad quality. So that's what we are going to learn in this practical. Next, to impart necessary skill for design and operation of water treatment plants. So in this, we also have to design each and every unit. What are the units? As I have already stated, aeration, sedimentation, filtration, disinfectant, and distribution system. These are the units which we have to learn in detail, which is of the theory part. But as far as practical is concerned, what we have to do? We just have to check the quality of water. Checking the quality of water theoretically is not possible, so we have to perform something, some experiment to check whether. Next is our to impart the sales skill for design and operation. As I already told you that we have to design and operate, also have to get to know how to operate this water treatment units. Next, to introduce the new development in the field of water treatment and to inculcate the student with sound theoretical knowledge in engineering science as well as the research consultancy skills. So we also have to develop some new technology or have to do something research so that we are able to procure more water with more efficiently with less economy. Okay, that's what we have to do. Next, to give the practical oriented knowledge so that they can give the practical solution to the environmental problem in the society, and also to provide the basic understanding of air and noise, air pollution and monitoring. So we also have to give the practical solution to it. So how we'll get to know how to give the practical solution? When we are going to perform any practical, during the practical we come across some problems. So how to tackle this problem, and can we do something more than that? That's what we have to going to learn in that. So this way you will get a habit to you will get a habit to get the practical solution as well. And last is to impart positive response, responsive vocational attitude, initiative, creative thinking in their mission as an engineer. Also provide a basic understanding of control. This is a general point which everyone should know about it. And we also have to get to know about the noise pollution as well. Okay, these are the things. Next, the list of practical. Mumbai University has given this total 11 list of practical, and out of this 11 practical, what we have to do? We have to perform any 8. Okay, how much we have to perform? We just have to perform any 8 practicals out of this 11. So the practicals which I have bolded, that's what we are going to perform in lab. Okay, so rest of them we are going to perform as well if we get the time for it. Okay, so first one is the determination of pH of water. Now you already know what is the pH of water. Okay, this practical we are going to perform today itself. Next is the determination of alkalinity of water. Now the question arises, whenever we talk about the pH, what is the pH? pH of water, either it is acidic or basic. What do we call as the basic water? We also call as the alkaline water. Now when we already know what is the alkaline water, then what is this next practical is? Determination of alkalinity of water. What this practical is about? So this practical, tells you how much is the water alkaline. Okay, so in first practical we just get to know whether it is acidic, basic, acidic or alkaline. But in second practical, what we are going to do, we are going to check how much is the water alkaline. Understood? Next is the determination of hardness of water. Now, what is hardness? You must have seen the hard water, must have heard about the hard water and soft water. Whatever the water which we drink is basically the soft water, not the hard one. Okay, whenever we get the hard water, what we do? We use some chemicals, we add some chemicals into the water so that it becomes uh, lesser hard or it becomes soft. So what are those methods? So basically, we use the lime soda process, zeolite process. These are the processes which we are also going to learn in theory as well. Next is the determination of turbidity of water. Now, what is the meaning of turbidity? As whenever we drink the water, if there is any grit particle or anything is being present in the water, so are we going to drink that water? No. So what does that shows? It basically make the water unpleasant, or it makes we don't feel that aesthetics of water. So we don't like to drink the water which has some any kind of grit or any particles been present in it. So to check whether the water has a any kind of grit particle or anything is being present on it or not, so for that purpose, we are going to perform this practical, which is called as the turbidity of water. Next is determination of optimum dose of coagulants by using jar test. Okay, as I have already told you in lecture as well, we are going to perform one test, which is called as the jar test. When I told you about the coagulation and all this thing, coagulation and flocculation, I told you that we are going to perform this jar test. Now, what is this jar test? Jar test is basically an experiment in which we have to calculate how much coagulants we have to use. Okay, how much of this coagulant we have to add so that the water will become potable. Okay, that's what we have to calculate. We can't add too much of coagulants. It ultimately destroyed the water, or it basically detour the water. And if we add the less, then whatever the particles or whatever suspended solid being present in it is not going to get removed. So we have to calculate the optimum quantity of coagulant. We don't require too much, we don't require less. We require the optimum. That's why the word has optimum is written over here. Okay, otherwise it has been just written determination of coagulants by using the jar test. Okay. Next is determination of dissolved oxygen. As we already know, what is oxygen? Oxygen is O2. As we know that this oxygen is being present in water. Okay, in what state? In dissolved state. Okay, so that's what we have to calculate. Now, what is the use of dissolved oxygen? We require the oxygen so that the aquatic life in the water or in the river or sea is being stabilized. Okay, so for that purpose, we have to calculate this dissolved oxygen as well. Next is determination of residual chlorine. Now, what is this residual chlorine is all about? As we have heard that when there is now it is a monsoon season, sometimes what government does, they just add little bit more chlorine into the water distribution system. So what is the reason behind it? Why the chlorine is being present in the water? Sometimes we even get the taste of that chlorine as well. It's not harmful for us, but if the quantity is too much, then it becomes harmful to us as a human body. It's not potable. It is not susceptible for our human body. That's why we require the little bit of chlorine, residual chlorine in the water. Now, why is it necessary? Say, for example, this is a distribution system. This is water treatment plant, and here is your house, home. Okay, so in this distribution system, we require the chlorine in the water. What is the reason? Say, for example, this pipe may get busted. Okay, or there might be some leakages in the water. So what happened? Any kind of microorganism or any bacteria is get intruded into this distribution system. So whenever this microorganism is getting into the system, then it ultimately detour or it is going to disturb this water, the condition of water. So for that purpose, to kill this microorganism, we require the residual chlorine in water distribution system. So that's the reason for it. Next is determination of chloride. Okay, now question arises: what is chlorine and what is chloride? Can anyone tell? They can unmute themselves and they can tell what is difference between chlorine and what is chloride. And you want to say something? Okay, I will just let you know what it is. Okay. Chlorine is what? Chlorine is a chemical element which has symbol Cl. Okay. And what is chloride? Chloride is an ion, negative ion. Okay. You must have seen this Cl negative. So what is chloride? This Cl negative. So chloride is an ion of chlorine, and chlorine is an element, chemical element with the symbol Cl. Okay. What is the atomic number? It's 17. And what is the weight? 35.5. 35.5 is the atomic weight of chlorine, and this is the atomic number. Okay, and what is chloride? Chloride is the ion. Okay, negative ion, that is chloride. Okay, this is the difference between these two. So what is next practical? Next practical is the determination of chloride in water. So how much percentage of chloride is being present in the water, that is what we have to calculate in this. Okay, what are the, this is chloride. Chlorine is basically what? Halogens. Halogens. Okay, what are the other halogens? That is bromine, iodine. These are the halogens. Okay, so that's what we have to calculate, how much amount of chlorine is being present in the water. So do we require this chloride in the water? No, it is harmful for our body, so we don't require this chloride in our water. Okay, next practical is most probable number. Now what is most probable number? As the name suggests, it shows something statistical value. We can't quantify it exactly, so it is most probable number. So number of what? Number of bacteria. Okay, number of bacteria is being present in water, that what we have to calculate in this. So most probable number is nothing but it gives the statistical value of how much number of bacteria is being present in water. That's what we have to calculate in this practical. Okay, next practical is high volume sampler. High volume sampler is basically one instrument which is used to calculate the percentage or amount of dust being present in atmosphere, that what we have to calculate. So this practical is concerned to the air pollution. Okay, in air pollution we don't require the dust particle or any other particles being present in the environment, so it is the experiment for the air pollution. Okay, and last one is our determination of level equivalent of noise. So as its name suggests, it is used to calculate how much is the noise present in an environment. So we don't.
Hello, sir. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there. I thought the signal get hampered. Okay.
Network connection is there.
Let me start once again. Okay. Now is it am I audible? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last is our practical for the determination of noise pollution. So what is noise pollution? We don't require noise in our environment, otherwise it hampers our day-to-day activities. Okay. So these are total 11 practicals which we are going to perform. Out of this, university said to perform any 8 practicals. So first we are going to give the preference to the one which is being in bold. Okay, these things are not that much of importance, that's why I have omitted that, but we also try to do perform this practical as well. Okay, next part is our assignment. In term work, first is our practical, second is our assignment. 6 assignments should be completed covering and all the modules in a syllabus. Okay, we have to complete all the modules covering the whole syllabus. Okay, so total we have 6 modules. So every module I'm going to give you each assignment. Okay, assignment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So first module name is water supply and distribution system. On this topic, I'm going to give you some questions and you have to write the assignments. Okay. Second is the quality of water. Next is water treatment processes. Fourth one is building water supplies and sanitary fixtures. Fifth and sixth one, as I already told you, these are the annexures topics. So rainwater harvesting, air and noise pollution. So these are the topics which we are going to cover, so that your whole syllabus is going to cover within it. Okay. Next is our mini project. So as you are going to be an engineer, so you must have known about that in final year you had to do a major project. Okay. So before starting the major project, you have to start with something mini one. Okay. So how to do the project and how to do project and what are the parameters which you have to consider in the project. So that's why we are there is one topic for your term work which is nothing but your mini project. And in mini project, University of Mumbai has listed these 4 projects, and out of these 4 mini projects you have to perform any one of it. Okay, I will just tell you what are those mini projects is all about. Okay, after getting to know about all these things, you have to make a group. You either can do in the groups or you can do this mini project in solo as well. Okay, the first one is the design a basic plumbing system for water supply for residential as well as the commercial building. So in this first mini project is what you have to design the basic plumbing system. Now what is basic plumbing system? I'll just show you. Say for example, this is your building. Okay, this is the back side of your building, and you must have seen so many pipes is being going here to here, and there is one water storage tank at the top of it. Okay, so how this pipelines is going coming from the government, from the municipality to your home. So these are the whole system is called as the basic plumbing system. So at the point from the water meter, this is what water meter. What is the use of water meter? As I've already told you, water meter is used to get to know how much liters of water you have been consumed, and according to that, government charge for it. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to make a plumbing system at the point of water meter. Sorry, not water tank. This is water meter, WM water meter, to your up till your taps. Okay, here is your tap. Up till here, you have to make one layout of it. Okay, so first you have to make a layout, and then you have to design. Now when we say the design, so what you have to do, you have to calculate the diameters of pipe, what is the length of pipe which is going to use, what are the material of pipe which you are going to use for it. All these are the parameters which you have to consider for the designing a plumbing system. Okay, for either residential or the commercial building. Okay, basically it's easy to use this residential, because in residential the number of pipes, joints and everything is required is less, so you don't have to do too much. As far as commercial building is concerned, if you have if it is easy for you to do the residential, then go for the commercial one. Okay, this is your first mini project. Second one, a case study for any existing structure. What is case study for existing structure? As I've already told you, the water is drawn from the river until the journey of water till it becomes in your glass. Okay, till it becomes in your glass. So till whatever the structure which is being come in between this, that you have to study. So you just have to take any one unit, or you have to take any one structure, existing structure which is being present, and have to do the case study for it. But in this COVID era, it's not possible to go somewhere and do this, so I have basically told you not to go for it. If it is possible, then you can go. Okay, next is the model making. Now, as I've already shown you previously, that batch of 2018-19, 18-19 and 19-20, they made models. Okay, they have made the model of what? Water treatment plant. I already have shown to you this. Okay, so this way you can also make a model. You can also make a working model as well, to understand whether how the water is being treated, what are the units on which the water is being gone. Or you can also consider any one model, say for example aeration tank, sorry, not aeration tank, say for example clarifloculation or sedimentation tank. You can make one model for the clarifloculation and the sedimentation tank, and you can explain how the things is being working, how the water is being going inside the tank, and how the water is being get filtered out. That's what you can do in this model making. Okay, and last is the software based design for the water distribution system. Last one is the software based design. So there are so many software which is being used. One of the software is EPA Net. This is one software which is mostly used worldwide for the design of water distribution system. I'm telling specifically the water distribution system, not the one which is getting inside the water treatment plant. It is not concerned anything about the water treatment plant. After purifying this water, there is some distribution system. So how this distribution system has been planned, that what you can do easily using this software. What is the software? EPA Net. You can also search that on Google as well. You will get to know so many papers of it. I will just show you in meantime. Okay, so these are the things which you can do. You can use this software. There is one open source software as well, so you can just use it to make a distribution system. So what you are going to do, you can just take your locality, say for example this is your colony, or this is your area or ward, you can say, and here are some roads. Okay, and here is your home. Okay, so what is getting into this main pipe? Okay, I'm just going to tell you what are the pipes: main pipe, main, sub main, and then branches, and then it goes to your house. So there are different types of pipe system is there. So we are going to choose which what is the discharge of water which is being required, and according to that you are going to use this pipes. Okay, what is the diameter of pipe which is being used for you? So for that purpose, you are going to use this design software for that purpose. So when the discharge is too much, then you ultimately have to have a larger diameter pipe. So all these things is being all the parameters is being present in given in this software, so you can design it properly as well. Okay, so these are the things, mini project, which you have to do, and you have to choose any one of it. Okay, so wisely you just choose it and just let me know whenever I'm going to give you a Google form for it. So either you can do the solo, or you can make a group of 5 to 6 people, 5 to 6 students, and you can do it. Okay, I just recommend you to just start at the day one. Otherwise, as there is one Parkinson's law which states that work expands the time to fill we allocate to it. So which says that whenever I'm going to give you any assignment or any work on day one, and if I'm going to give you 30 days to complete this work, so what you are going to do, you are going to start at 25th day. So So this time which is being required is going to be less, and you are going to use this much of only useful time. So this way you can start the project as whatever is required for you. Okay. Okay, next this is all about the mini project. Next is the rubrics of termworks. Okay, now how the termworks is being distributed. So first thing is your report. In the report, you are going to after writing the report, you are going to get the 10 marks. Assignment comprises of 5 marks. For assignment, if you are going to write the assignment properly and everything, then you are going to award the 5 marks. Okay. Wait. Next is your mini project. As I've already told you before, that you also have to do select any one of it and have to perform the mini project. So for mini project, you are going to get the 5 marks. And last one is the attendance. For regular attending the practicals, you are going to get the 5 marks according to that. So this total comprises of term work is 25 marks. Okay, remember this. Next is the course outcome. As I've already stated this course outcome in theory lecture also, so I'm just going to give a brief introduction bit. So each course outcome comprises of each module. So totally we have 6 modules, and there are total 6 course outcome. So now what is the use of this course outcome? I just want to let you know that, sorry. I just want to let you know what is the use of this course outcome. So as soon as our any topic or module is being completed, say for example, if you completed first module, okay, after completing of first module, you will start studying to it, and you will start solving the problems if there are any. Okay, and after doing everything, just read this course outcome. Okay, what you are going to do after doing the whole chapter? What you are going to do? You are just going to read this outcome. Why? I will just let you know. Understand a water supply system, its component, and water demand by various consumers. Okay, after reading this, you can analyze yourself whether do you really understand that particular topic or not. If say for example you have learned the water supply system, but you fail to understand its component, so after getting to know that whether I understand this component or not, so for understanding this component, you will get to know, acha, this topic I don't understand very well, so you will just study this properly as well. Or if you get any problem, you can directly contact me and you will clear all your doubts to it. Okay, so that's the purpose of course outcome. Okay, say for example, when if I'm going to talk about this one, design of different unit of treatment for water treatment plants. So after designing each and everything, you will get to know, acha, this one I have understood very well. Okay, so this way you have to complete all your outcomes in this fashion. Okay, and after completing the whole syllabus, after giving the examination as well, just read out this course outcome at the end of it, and you will understand whether at the starting of your exam, starting of your semester to the end of your semester, whether you understand this course outcome or not. Okay, that's the purpose of this course outcome, which is given by our universities. Okay, understood? So that's what you have to do. Okay, remember this. Sorry, what has happened? Okay, this is all about the course outcome. And last one is the recommended books. As I already told you that which book you have to use. You have to refer this book, S.K. Garg, Water Supply Engineering by S.K. Garg, which is of Khanna publication. You will get each and every concept of it, and all the design parameters is being given to us in this particular book. And for air pollution, you have to use its second part. Okay, volume 2, sewage disposal and air pollution, using the same author. If you are going to use the same author, you will understand how he has written the whole book. If you are trying to switch to the different books, say for example you are using this one, you will not understand the proper concept of it. Okay, whenever you are trying to read any book, say for example you start hope you guys are reading the novels as well. So whenever we start reading anyone's novel, okay, say for example Mark Mason, if you have read the novel of him, so we'll understand how he has written the book. So in this fashion, the same fashion, the person has written the book in their own way. If you are going to switch the book, though, for understanding personal purpose, it becomes so hard for you to understand it. So if you want to use some other book, so say for example, if you don't understand any topic of that particular book, then go for another book. Okay, unless and until you don't get any kind of problem, then I just recommend you not to switch to so many books. It will ultimately hamper your knowledge, or understanding capacity has ultimately get decreased in this. Okay, so as far as possible, use this book. Which book? Water Supply Engineering by S.K. Garg, which is of Khanna publication. And I also told you to refer this Indian Standard Specification, which as per we have to use N 500 2012. I have